Hello and welcome back to the Odds Now YouTube channel and me, Matt Hill, on hand to deliver your daily update on the World Grand Prix action. The round one games are in the books now, all 16 ties concluded across Monday and Tuesday. And of course, as we come to expect with the World Grand Prix, it's been chaos, hasn't it? It's been upsets galore. 7 of the 16 matches have seen the betting favourite knocked out. So we have a little bit of chaos and carnage in the outright market as well as a result. And it could have been even more dramatic because the two new sort of outright leaders in the betting, Luke Humphreys and Gary Anderson, well, they both dodged match darts in their respective matches against Stephen Bunting and Michael Smith, respectively. So before I go into previewing Wednesday's 4 round 2 matches, I thought it would be prudent just to have a little look at the outright market, how it is looking right now, because I should note as well, one of my 2 outright selections, Chris Dobey, has been knocked out. He was beaten in a disappointing performance by Joe Cullen. He was in control of that match at a set to the good. Leg 3 of set 2 proved pivotal. Dobey 200 points ahead, couldn't finish it off, and that seemed to flip the game on its head. Fair play to Joe Cullen. But that's a blow. But James Wade, 80-1. Well, he got a great win over Peter Wright. And yeah, still feeling pretty confident about Wade's chances in Leicester. But yeah, I want to dive in and show you how the outright market is looking now. So I'm going to share my screen. And you'll see the odds as of Wednesday morning up on your screen now. Now, as you can see, Luke Humphreys no bigger than 9-4 to retain his title. That would have seemed a stretch when he was 5-0 down in legs, a set and 2 legs down to Stephen Bunting. Bunting missing a dart at bull to knock Humphreys out 2-0. But he didn't do it. Humphreys showed that true grit of a champion to come back, and now he's a hot favourite to retain his title. Gary Anderson, he had to dodge even more bullets than Humphreys. Michael Smith, 2 clear darts at tops to win that match, both on the wire. Anderson stepped in and checked out 49 in 2 darts, and he's still standing. And we all know how good Anderson has been on the floor this year. There were flashes of his brilliance against Michael Smith, but he still has to go and do it over a consistent period, doesn't he, on a big TV event. He admitted himself to our partner channel Darts Now that he's a little bit out of practice in these big tournaments. And yeah, I think that's short enough on Gary Anderson. Obviously a dangerous player, but I would probably be inclined to give him a wide berth at 5-1. Gerwen price is a best price of 9-1, more generally around that 8-1, 15-2 mark. He's got a fantastic record at the venue, hasn't he? He's been in the semi-finals or better in each of the last 4 years. Won it in 2020, of course, runner-up last year. He wasn't very impressive against Danny Noppert, but this is the kind of tournament where a slow start doesn't really matter as long as you just win. Price will have to up it a couple of levels, I think it's fair to say, on that performance if he's going to compete. He has my outright selection, James Wade, next. That'll be an interesting clash because Wade has the better of the head-to-head record between the two, although Price probably dominated it more in the last few years. But Wade did get a Euro Tour win over Price in their only meeting this year, so that's an interesting contest. I won't go on and name every player and talk about their prospects, but Dave Chisnell in there at 12-1. His section of the draw has really opened up. He was in that quarter with Michael Van Gerwen and Chris Dobey, who have both been knocked out. So Chizzy now the favourite to come out of that quarter. Potential semi-final appearance. We all know about Chizzy's major struggles, but it's a good opportunity for him. He's a man in form. Then we're into the best of the rest, really. Ross Smith, 16s, Nathan Aspinall, 18s, James Wade, one of 4 players at 25-1 alongside Johnny Clayton, Martin Schindler, and Dimitri Vandenberg. And then it's 28 and bigger, the remainder. I must say, out of these guys that are still standing, there is one player that I've had a bit of an investment on this morning, and it's Johnny Clayton at 25-1. I really liked what I saw from the Ferret against Richie Edhouse. He's had well-documented problems away from the hockey with the loss of his father last year, which he has admitted knocked him for 6 and even made him consider packing up darts. But he's back. He seems to have his old smile back and his love for the game. He's got that fire in the belly. And yeah, former winner of this tournament. He's really well suited to the double start. I always think that Dublin has been Clayton's strength over the years, and when he won that glut of TV titles a couple of years ago. So good to see him playing well again. I quite like his section of the draw. He's got a tough match against Ross Smith tonight, but they're all tough matches from here, aren't they? Nobody that would strike the fear of God into me if I was a Johnny Clayton backer, which I now am. I've taken a little bit of the 25-1 each way on Johnny Clayton. In terms of other players, I can't really make a case for any of the 5 guys at the bottom going all the way, but look, some great wins for them. Gurney beating MVG without dropping a leg. Van Gerwen was bang off it last night, though, it must be said. Joe Cullen, as I mentioned, beating Chris Dobie. That was the best we've seen Joe Cullen play for a couple of months. So interested to see how he goes in the coming days. Mike De Decker getting the better of Damon Hector in a really good game. As I thought could happen. Ryan Joyce, well, we had a good winner on him on Monday, 7-4, beating Josh Rock. He takes on Nathan Aspinall tonight in what I think will be a tight clash. And Pietreczko, well, he faces Luke Humphrey. So good luck there to Ricardo. But yeah, I thought Martin Schindler as well is an interesting runner. Quite fancy him tonight against Rob Cross, as we'll soon touch on. But yeah, Johnny Clayton for me, the bet at 25-1. So he's the one that I've added to my outright portfolio, which is a nice simple one at this stage in terms of the outright betting. Johnny Clayton 25-1 each way, which is widely available everywhere. I've taken a little bit of that, 12.5-1 about Clayton winning 3 more matches. Given his route, I thought it was worth a little go. And James Wade, well, that 80-1 is looking big now, no bigger than 25s across the board, Wade. And if he beats Price tomorrow night, that price can easily chop in half again. So fingers crossed for one of those two to give us a deep run. Anyway, we shall move on to Wednesday night's matches. Now, we've had 8 matches on Monday, 8 matches on Tuesday. We're down to 4 matches a night now, but a longer format, best of 5 sets. So initially, the first comment I would make there is a lot more time for players to settle into their rhythm. There's not the same amount of jeopardy. Dobie was one of several players that we saw really panic in set 3, and that's very easily done in this format, because games that you feel like you have complete control of can so quickly slip away from you. And we saw that with a few players. Luke Littler, I'm sure, would have felt he was in control of that game against Rob Cross right until the end of it. Same for Dobie against Cullen. Yeah, I could go on. Damon Hector probably felt he was in control against Mike De Decker. But yeah, that's the way it goes at that level. You've just got to find a way to get through. And for the lads that have got through now, they can really settle into this tournament. You're looking more, form becomes more relevant for me at this stage. So without further ado, then let's dive into the games. The first game that we have tonight is Nathan Aspinall against Ryan Joyce. And as I say, this to me looks like the tightest game of the night on paper. Joyce did exactly what I thought he would do against Josh Rock. He just grinded away, was very consistent and reliable on his doubles, and he waited for opportunities from Rock, who is brilliant but can be a little bit erratic at times, and Joyce fully punished him. He's one of the best doublers in the PDC. His only previous visit to the World Grand Prix, again, he made the second round. I think he exited to Dave Chisnell at this stage 3-2 in a tight contest, having beaten Peter Wright, shocked Peter Wright in the first round. So all in all, Joyce at the World Grand Prix is a good combination. I don't think Aspinall will have it easy against the Geordie. But wow, I was really pleased the way Nathan Aspinall performed against Ryan Searle. We all know that he's had his injury woes and other problems as well. He's been very open about those. I wanted to see how he performed in that first game back on the big stage, and I thought he was excellent. They went to a last leg decider. Searle had the darts. Aspinall goes off with the perfect 160, follows it up with a 180. Actually went 7 darts into a perfect leg, and he broke Searle in 11 darts, and that's just world class, isn't it? In this format, stages and pressure just seem to bring the best out of Nathan Aspinall, and all told, I'd have to make him favourite against Ryan Joyce, but I do think it'll be a close affair. I considered backing the overs on the sets line, but again, that's quite short. So looking for another way in and looking for a way to boost that 4-6 about the Aspinall win. I dived into their 180 stats, and both for the year and for the last 3 months, Aspinall is averaging more 180s per leg than Joyce. Now, when you factor in as well that he's had injury problems and he's not been at his best, that is an even more impressive statistic. So backing Aspinall to win this with the most 180s in the match is 17-10 at Betfair. And that would be my idea of a bet in the first game. I wouldn't normally back 180 lines in this format because obviously the double start means less opportunities for a max and that kind of thing. But when you just back in player A or player B to get the most, that's a different kettle of fish. And Aspinall, 4 180s in his first game. He looked in good nick in that sense. So that'll do for me at 17-10. Game 2 sees Martin Schindler take on Rob Cross, and I quite fancy an upset here. Schindler 11-8 best price with AK bets. That will be my selection. Let me tell you why. Well, Rob Cross, he was my best bet of round 1 to beat Luke Littler at 15-8. Delighted to say that he got the job done there, but It's a totally different mindset for Cross now. He was almost a rag in that game. He was so unfancied. Everyone kind of overlooked Cross, which really surprised me, given the calibre of player that we're talking about there. And I understand the hype around Littler, and he was a little bit unlucky to lose, all being told. But yeah, I just felt that Cross went into that as a massive underdog, and he's always a dangerous beast when he's written off a little bit. But it's a complete mindset shift now. He's expected to get past Martin Schindler. He's one of the favourites for glory here. But let's not forget that performance against Littler was the first time Rob Cross has ever averaged above 90 in the World Grand Prix. So that's how much he struggles with this format traditionally. So backing him as a short price favourite against anyone would give me a little bit of trepidation. But to do so against Martin Schindler, one of the form players in the PDC at the moment, is just not my idea of a bet at all. So I want to be with Schindler, who made light work of Brendan Dolan in round one, beating him 2-0. It was really convincing in that performance. And yeah, like all the stats with his checkout percentage for the season and stuff, all bode really well. So I do think that Schindler at 11-8, which is currently available with AK Bets, is a cracking price, and that'll do nicely for me in the second game. Moving on to the third game, then, it's Luke Humphreys, the new 94 favourite for the World Grand Prix to defend his title. As I say, dodged a bullet literally against Stephen Bunting. Should have really been knocked out, but once he got a glimmer of an opportunity to get back into the game, he showed why he's a world champion, didn't he? He turned on the style. It was mesmeric at times. So many 1-5-2 starts in those latter legs. And yeah, that was vintage Humphreys in the back end of that game. And yeah, you could make a case about Bunting being a vulnerable horse sometimes when he doesn't take his opportunity. We've seen him blow leads before, unfortunately. But Humphreys, you still got to go and do it. And that was a high quality performance from Luke Humphreys. He takes on Ricardo Pietrezco, who is the outsider for this tournament at 80-1 at the time of speaking. Pietrezco came into this tournament under a cloud. He'd had a bad wrist injury. He was a doubt to even line up until about a week or two before. He turned up, he played Raymond van Barneveld in round one, and he got past Barney 2-1 in sets. That was an up and down, topsy-turvy game, but I thought Pietrezco was a worthy winner, winning the last set 3-0, running away from Barney in the end, and pleased for him, really, because he's had a tough time of things on the stage in the UK. Had problems with the crowd, had problems with bringing his best level. And of course, he famously played Luke Humphreys at the Worlds last year, was 3-1 up in a race to 4 sets, and Humphreys came back and beat him 4-3. So that was a big win for Pietrezco, but I just feel he may have scaled his mountain there and achieved what he wanted to achieve there in getting through that first round. It's a little bit of a free hit for him, this, against Luke Humphreys, obviously, so that could work to his favour. But I just really liked what I saw from Luke Humphreys in the last couple of sets against Bunting. I think if he brings that level as I expect him to from the start, he'll make light work of Pietrezco. Now, interesting little rick in the betting here at the time of speaking. The best price you can get on a Humphreys 3-0 win is 7-5 or 2.4. But William Hill have actually got him on a -2.5 set handicap, which is the exact same thing. So to win 3-0 at 6-4, 2.5. So if you are a singles better or a serious better, that's quite a difference. Just by utilising the same bet on a different market. So my official selection is Humphreys -2.5 sets at 6-4. If you can't get that 6-4, take the 7-5. That's widely available about Luke Humphreys to win 3-0 would be my advice. Yeah, I think Humphreys, if he turns up at the level we expect, can get a job done on Pietrezco quite quickly. So that will be my play on the third game of the night. The final clash of Wednesday night sees Johnny Clayton take on Ross Smith. I was really impressed with these two in round one, having been fairly mixed on their chances, shall we say, coming into it. I probably fancied Clayton more than I did Smith for a run. But Ross Smith was the star performer of round one, broke that 100 average line, which is very rarely done at the World Grand Prix, in dismissing Jean Van Veen 2-0. That was surprising because Smith has not been in great form the last few weeks. If you look at his underlying numbers, he's really been struggling. We traditionally expect him to be one of the biggest 180 hitters and one of the most reliable operators generally on the circuit over the last 2 years, but he's been struggling. So good to see Smith back to somewhere near his best against Van Veen. Clayton was really, really rock solid though against Richie Edhouse, because Edhouse on debut, you could say that he underperformed. I wouldn't say that really. Maybe a little bit of a slow start from Edhouse, but after that he really settled into it, threw some lovely darts, and Clayton just held it together. Done a very professional job on him. And as I say, Johnny Clayton, he's a bet outright for me at 25-1. So no surprises. I want to be with him here. He's the underdog against Ross Smith, which surprised me a little bit. I had this a kind of 10-11 either way game. And I still would have been making Clayton a bet there. So to see the drift on Clayton, see Clayton go out to 6-5, that'll do for me. I think Clayton's a very different proposition to Jan van Veen on this stage. Not that Van Veen played badly, he played very well, but Johnny Clayton's a former winner here. He's rock solid on the outer ring, and he's very comfortable on that stage in Leicester. And yeah, I think Ross Smith, even his power scoring and stuff, it's not going to phase Clayton in his current mindset. So I do make Clayton a bet there at 6-5, keeping it very simple. Johnny Clayton to win there. So just to summarise my best bets for Wednesday night and bring them up on your screen now. Aspen to win with the most 180s versus Ryan Joyce is my bet in game one. Martin Schindler to beat Rob Cross, 11-8 is my bet in game two. Luke Humphreys -2.5 sets, but you can just back 3-0 Humphreys wherever you get the best price, really. 6-4 currently available with William Hill there, 7-5 elsewhere. And Johnny Clayton to beat Ross Smith at 6-5 with Sporting Index and Spread X at the moment. Now, if you want to back the ACCA, as I know some people enjoy doing, well, that is 28-1 with Boyle Sports. Depending on how you place it with the 3-0s or the -2.5, you may get a little bit bigger there. You might get it up towards 30-1. But equally, I expect a couple of these prices to shorten. I think the Humphreys 3-0 will shorten throughout the day. And I wouldn't be surprised if Schindler shortens a little bit more against Cross. That Aspinall price on screen there should actually read 17-10 as I referenced earlier in the video. But yeah, so they're my four selections. Hoping for a little bit better luck than yesterday when I blanked after a really good Monday. But hopefully it's going to be swings and roundabouts and things are going to be much improved on Wednesday. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you're enjoying our content here on Odds Now. If you are, please do consider subscribing to the channel, and please do give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Plenty more daily action to come on the World Grand Prix and on other sports throughout the week. So stick with us and we'll see you very soon.